Good morning everyone, it's day 5 of 100 days of code and let's get into it. We're continuing with Max Schwarzmüller's full React course, so complete React course. So let's go. What's this? Oh, it's npm start, sorry. So I just moved into my project folder by using cd, current directory as space, and then write the name of the folder you want to move into. If you're not sure what folders you can move into, you can use dir on a Windows or ls on a Mac, and it'll tell you all the folders you can move into, and you move into them using cd. And then I just ran npm start. So So I'm just watching the video here, he's explaining things, so that's what I'm doing. We're going to pass a new prop to expense form. So basically all we've done here now is declare this function, and we're passing this in when we are using the expense form. And what this is doing is it's capturing that expense data. So the expense data that we entered in the form, the amount, the title and the date, here we've destructured it. So we're using the spread operator. So we're using the spread operator to get each of those values coming in from that object, and then we have the ID, and the ID we're getting through using the mat.random like function call or inbuilt method of JavaScript, inbuilt method. And what this will do is just pick a random number as the ID, which isn't foolproof, but it's good. It's gonna work. It's good enough. And then for like what I'm doing here, just practicing and stuff. But maybe like if you had a very secure system, you'd want to use a different ID method in order to get this key, because you could get the same number twice. But yes. So then we have to string, just to transfer to a string for how we want to save that piece of information. So that's what's going on there. Okay, so I was halfway there, but not right. So this should actually be const new expense. So we're declaring the function new expense, and the new expense has within it, am I in the right file? Yes. Okay, I did just go ahead of myself, make my own answer up, and my answer wasn't exactly what Mark says, so let's keep going. Excuse me, what? So we're gonna have save expense data handler. When did this happen? Just gonna rewind a bit, because sometimes you can do this and then, like, I'm sure he had got that. Oh, excuse me, sorry, I think the thought of sneezing on camera made it like not come out. Strange. I'm happy I didn't sneeze though, so good save. Oh, gas. So I've never sneezed like that before. I remember. Okay. Yeah. See, I was getting ahead of myself. So this component is called new expense. I do not need to declare it again. That's what I'm actually doing here. I'm just seeing he had something slightly different and started launching into fixing it, and then said, hold on, Leanne, take a moment, because you're literally just launching into this. And sometimes just taking a step back in coding is one of the best things you can do, because if you start changing this stuff willy-nilly and you're just all over the place, which we've all been there, you know, you don't really know what's working and what's broken, and you have an error, so you're just throwing stuff in from the internet and you're trying to get it to work. We've all been there at the beginning of our careers. I still get there, but you're really sort of setting yourself up for failure, guys, if you continue. Look, I did it so many times. The whole first section of my career was spent just throwing in bits of code and seeing what would work, and I still do it, but you can put yourself down a rabbit hole because you just break it more and more and more, and then you can't get back to where you started. So it's just a big pile of mess, and you know, your progress that you made the day before has been ruined because you need to go back, and you just can't get anything working anymore. And because you were doing it all in sort of a tizzy, nothing was saved or committed along the way. If you did get to a point where one little thing worked, perhaps part of it start working and you're like, oh great, like I'm only a second away from the whole thing working. So then you go and grab some more code. You need to be slow and methodical in your approach to coding. In my coding alphabet, A to Z, the book is coming out. The analytical letter A, the first concept I talk of in coding is to try and get into the analytical way of thinking. You need to have an analytical approach to this. Like, you don't need to be a big analyst or anything. It's literally what I just said, but just try and approach this in a sensible, calm, logical, analytical way. And that's the bit that takes practice, you know. Everything else, you just get through it and you give it a little go, and eventually these things start clicking. But how to do it calmly, think about what you're doing, and to try and really see what the code is doing, try and understand it, try and read it. So I know in the beginning loads of it doesn't make sense, like a lot of it doesn't make sense, especially if you're working on big projects and you come to a big new file and you just haven't got the experience to figure it out yet, and you're trawling the internet and you can't make heads or tails of it. Well, just do your best, you know, and eventually you will start to see those little bits come out of that file. Oh, I know what that function does. And when you understand what the function does, write a little comment. I think this function is grabbing the data from this place, you know. Just write little comments along the way as you think you get it, because you're going to be probably working on this file all day. You're trying to solve a problem on this page, and don't let those little small incremental gains that you make be lost, because it's just so easy to just like lose run of yourself and just flail away at the keyboard because you really want to fix something and you want to make progress, but you won't that way. I've learned the hard way. Look, I just did it there, so I literally just did it. I started flailing on away and then I said, hold on, this is going to end badly. I'm going to just have to undo everything if I don't stop, take stock and continue. So that's all it takes. And with practice and lots of failures, by constantly not taking stock, constantly sticking yourself down little rabbit holes and just throwing up the hat at the end of the day and thinking, oh, I'm going to bed now, like, and coming back in the morning with hopefully a bit of new lease of life, and then it happens again. And then it happens again. You know, you do learn not to do these things, so you'll get there. Just keep practicing, and if it gets really frustrating, take a break. You know, that's the end of your studying for the day. So yeah. I just wanted to listen to him there for a moment. But yeah, as I was saying, I defined my function class for this component, my component declaration in the form of a function was done twice, which you do not need to only say the name of. If I had it saved, I would have got an error. And now I have too many curly braces. And did you see the reason why I had too many curly braces there? So I had a curly brace here, and then I could see that that one was lining up with that. And this is defining this page, this component for me. This function here is the function and the name of this component. That's what this function is. It's the component. So if it's ending here, right, see the way these are both yellow. I also have a video out on Visual Code Studio extensions. If you want to check that out, go ahead and do that. But yeah, so I could see that this one was indented too much, and also then I spotted it was yellow. Well, I just seen it was indented too much. So, and then if you look down here, this one is red and squiggly. I didn't even notice that one because I didn't need to notice that one. I just spotted these two. So this is already closing off. This bracket is going with this one. So this is already saying this is where this is ending, you know? See the way they go in line? So this is for this block of code. This one is for this block of code. This one is for this block of code. Whereas realistically, this particular function definition for our component should be ending at the end of the page, because it's defining the whole page. We need to tell this page, this component, what we want it to return out. What's the return? What should we be sending back out when we're using this component? So therefore this is ending too soon. So just remove that one. And it may seem like I'm going through some really simple stuff for some of you guys, But this is the stuff that I just couldn't get when I was starting, and it doesn't come naturally either. You know, somebody does need to tell you. So hopefully it's not too monotonous and tedious for some of you. Hopefully, you know, the people of the right level are watching it, or if you're get all this stuff, maybe you're just watching it for entertainment purposes. Who knows? I don't know. But thanks for tuning in, whoever is watching, and let's keep going. It's crazy today. It'll do. Crazy hair. Da-na-na. Look at these baby curls. So curly. Like a little squirrel. Okay, so I don't know why my phone keeps going off. I took off all the pictures off it yesterday, and yeah, it just went off, so sorry about that, guys. Okay, so ad expense handler. So now we're just defining a function, and we do this before we return, obviously, before we return anything. So we'll add an add expense handler. Well, not obviously, if you don't know it. So we add our functions above our return statement, because once you have a return statement, nothing else after this is going to come out of the component. So even if you're trying to console log something out and you have a function, so my function, and this is just a function definition, and then you want to return some value. So if you try and put a console log down here to see what that value is, as you can see, it's gone grey. I can't see it. I can't see it. It can't do anything. Well, not that it can't do anything after the return, but you've told the code, come out of this function now. You know, the return is, okay, I'm done with you. Come out. You can just have a return like this, and that literally means, okay, stop executing this function, or else you can return and send something back out. So you just put something after the return keyword. But as you can see, if you put this console log up here, as it comes through and runs this function, as it comes in here and it says, oh, my function, right, I better run this function. This is a function call, and it comes in here and starts executing the code line by line. It'll come here and it'll console log out to line 14, and it'll log out that value. Then it will return the value back out, so the rest of the page can use that value, or somewhere else in the app can use it if that's how you've set it up. So that's what's going on there. Whereas this console log cannot be console logged out, and you won't see that console log. The second instance of value, it won't be in the console because you've put it after the return. So just so you guys know, understand what I'm talking about there. So here we just want to do something with the expense when it comes in, but for the moment all I'm going to do is just console log out. And then this is cool. Yep. So now that we've passed this, now that when we're on adding an expense, we want to run the add expense handler, which is here. We can pass through the props so that we get this expense from when we add a new expense. So we need to pass in the props here. Mm-hmm. My hair's very crazy this morning. Drinking a coffee earlier on in the white mug, and this is just lemon juice and water. It's very bitter, so oh, there's so much lemon in that. There's too much lemon. So I'm just watching the video. Excuse me. Sorry guys, I still haven't WD-40'd my chair, which is just like greased it to stop it squeaking. Oh my god, I just realised I haven't been committing my code like any day. No. Oh, anyway, that's the biggest joy of this whole thing. How have I been forgetting? The best bit about this whole process is my hair is so crazy. The best bit about this process is being able to commit your code at the end and seeing the little light on GitHub go green. It's like, that's the best bit. I just feel like when the light goes green. So I can't believe I've been forgetting that, but I have, yeah. I'm gonna make a note. You wouldn't think I need to make a note. I don't need to make a note, but today is Friday. Happy Friday, everybody. It's Friday. It's a Friday dance. So it's Friday, and I've got the whole weekend to do lots of fun stuff that I want to do and get done. I have another video coming out for you. It's the continuation in the coding. So that's going to be going on. Get ready. That's more like knowledge based. I'll actually explain concepts. I won't just be coding willy-nilly and explaining things. This is more for my own learning, but I will be doing videos for your learning as well. So do join me for that. And yeah, so soon as it's the weekend, I better sort out this GitHub issue, because I was trying to commit and I had set up 2 different accounts and it was just giving me a load of hassle, and then I just sort of forgot about it. I was like, oh, I'll just keep coding, but and then I just completely forgot to commit, because I've just been coming in and doing this in the morning, and then I'm like, okay, I want to have like time before work to relax and have a cup of coffee and just chill. I'm supposed to be coding, I shouldn't be waffling, but yeah, so I would finish up and then in the evening just worry about posting the video. And yeah, I completely forgot to commit my code and get the most satisfaction out of this whole thing, which is that little light just going bing green. So push your code to GitHub, guys. It's great. I also have a video where I go through the setup of Git and GitHub and pushing to get your first push and creating your branch and just setting up your entire development environment from the very beginning. So if you're someone who has been working on interactive code pens and you haven't worked with an IDE just yet, or you haven't committed or created a GitHub account, check that video out. It will be very helpful. It goes through the whole thing. So I'm going to just keep listening to this video and continue with my learning. Excuse me, sorry. Okay, so I'm just after firing up my, there I am. So I'm just after firing up my, having a look at my browser here, what my local development server is telling me when I've spin it up. So here's my local development server running down here, and it's running at localhost 3000, and if we just click on that CTRL and left click, I have this error. So in app.js on line 18 and then 33 spaces in I have the letter A. So let's go have a look at that and see what that should be. No, I don't. Line 18 app.js. Oh, excuse me, what? So, and no, I don't. So I did have an A in here a while ago. I thought I had fixed it. So let's reload the page. So let's just spin this up again, and while I spin it up again, I'm going to just read this in more depth. So app.js line 18. Yeah. So app.js line 18. And I don't see A. What? So because the app.js is the central file, perhaps this could be being pulled in from somewhere else. I'm going to just, and do you know what, look, sometimes you're just not looking at the very obvious. So app.js, let's make sure one more time. Line 18, so it's not that. So now we'll go, we were also looking in here. Well, first of all, I'm not passing anything through here. On add expense, and there should be expense. No, it shouldn't. Okay, so this should be expense data, sorry. That's being added. And then I'm going to just search for A. Oh, wasn't a great idea. So let's just keep having a goosey gander. We will figure this out eventually. And you can see that there. Okay. Just make sure you can really see it. Okay. So, what is going on, mate? Hope you like my British accent. I was born in Essex, so please nobody get offended. As much as I'm Irish, a Dublin girl, it is my place of birth. So, but my parents are both Irish, so So that means I'm allowed to do a British accent, alright? I used to speak like that. Mummy, Daddy, can we go to the park? So what am I after missing here now? Oh, he was... So we're not over here. Let's get rid of this. Could be here actually, yeah. We're not here. Just gonna make this a bit smaller. You guys need to be able to see it, but I need an even bigger screen. So we're not in here, but I'm just having a quick look. So it's not in there. This error, like app.js line 18, like it's not there either. So oh, don't tell me it's not because I just didn't save it, right? Obviously. So these little dots at the top of the document mean that you haven't saved the file. And I did look at that, but it just didn't click. So sometimes it really is the most simple stuff. So then we're just going to save this as well because that's necessary. And you know what? I think it's good seeing someone code along and realising that these things, unless everybody gets back to me and is like, this never happens to me, like ever. I don't know how you forgot to save your file. But in my opinion, this stuff happens to everybody, and it's good to see so that you don't, you know, think that you're crap just because you forgot to save your file, because you're not, and it happens to everybody. So I'm sticking with that one. So and it's the truth. It actually is the truth in my opinion, unless people get back, but however. So the title we're going to go with is it's the truth. The title we're going to go with is hello amount and date. Date picker. Did not submit. Oh. So we got back our expenses array, but I wanted to see the expense, not the expenses array. So I'll go back to app.js and I want to log just the expense itself that we've just added. And there was another problem with submit. So our form, and it didn't submit because we didn't tell it that this is a submit button. So hopefully now this should work for us. So if we do milk, it's an expenses tracker. Okay, so again I need to save everything. So if I do CTRL and S, it's not saving everything. So that's my issue. Normally I have save set up that once I click CTRL and S as a shortcut, it saves everything for me. So I just need to go to my settings here and fix this. Preferences. Settings, save, format and save. That's been annoying me. And so we want the whole file, and then auto save, I want that on. Yeah, that's fine with me. So I'm just gonna check, like now I have it on autosave, so it doesn't matter, it's gonna autosave, but I still want to save all files when I save in Visual Studio Code. I don't want to just save the current file that I've been working on, because that's been giving me errors that then it just takes a moment. So, oh, what? I just googled, oh, dark mode is now available on Google Chrome. Everybody's getting in on the game, so that's exciting. Great. Oh my god, Google Chrome is dark. Have a look. Here's Google Chrome. Look at that. Turn off. Oh, it went away. I wanted to turn it back on. Anyway, irrelevant. Can do that in the sentence. That's not what we're here for. So how can I save all files? And then I say as of today. Like, when was this? CTRL K and S to save all unsaved files. A word of caution about keyboard shortcut. Okay. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna just change that. Yeah. To CTRL and S. So let's do that, because I would prefer to be, so save TRS. Okay, save all. Okay, so I actually want this to be just save, and that's fine. Yeah, file save, that can be CTRL. Let's change this one. Oh, it was CTRL S and K, wasn't it? There was no Alt involved. Okay, so S and K, that's just awkward. K and S. No thanks. Okay, so save my, oh yeah, press enter. So okay, once that one's done, that's fine for me, because I need all the files to save when I do that. That's how I've just been used to that setup. One of my previous videos, can't believe I haven't noticed that until now. One of my previous videos, I guess maybe I've been working on one file saving and haven't been jumping around too much, and just didn't occur to me. So now let's go back, let's check it out, let's clear our console, let's get bread in the shops. That expense was mighty, and then we stick in the day we got the bread. Bada bing, bada bomb. Still didn't come up in our list, but we have our ID. I did just want to put out the expense, but I should have what's in the expense also, so it's not properly being passed over here. That's there, so no expense. Save expense, unsave. Entered expense tab. So I should be passing in as the props to unadd expense the entered expense data. No. Right, what is this? That seemed to make sense. Okay. Oh, so it's TypeScript, not JavaScript. Okay folks, so that's it. Thanks a million for joining me, and stick around for my educational video coming out this weekend, where I'll go through coding concepts and speak you through and give you code examples of them, as opposed to just coding for my own learning. But sure, hopefully if you are watching this, then you found it useful, or you just liked to follow along and watch somebody doing a bit of coding. So thanks so much for joining me, and have a beautiful day, people. Thank you.